The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the OnPurpose Growth podcast. Today, I've got Jordan Mederich. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Mederich, close enough.
Mederich. Herefore known unto now as Jordo. So now I'm gonna mess it up again. He's the CEO of DropFunnels, and today what we're going to be talking about is how he pivoted his company to differentiate in a marketplace that is totally fascinating. It's and for me, it's I believe the best way to think about pivoting and how to pivot and how to differentiate yourself. So this is going to be exciting. If you're thinking about how do I get a throughput of sales or how do I set myself apart in the marketplace, you're going to want to sit back, watch, listen, whatever you're doing, because this one's going to be good. And Jordo, thanks for being on, man. Why don't you give everybody a background of, who you are, where you came from, and we'll dive right in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me here, Brian. I'm excited to chat with everyone and give everyone some insight, no matter what level that you're at. We'll try to keep it as simple as tech can possibly be. But,
Yep.
we really have a goal of simplifying marketing for people. But, I was a pastor's kid. My mom's a teacher, very humble beginnings. I always say, like, the silver spoon that we ate from came from Goodwill, but it's all the same thing. So, but through that, I really learned entrepreneurship and learned, I always say that, like, a church planter is what my dad was. He's kind of like an entrepreneur who never gets paid. Right. So I learned that desire to, like, serve people and to build and to create a movement out of things. I just decided that I wanted to go the more entrepreneurial route. And so from that, I've done several different things. I've had three minor exits. Whenever you say exit, it sounds a lot sexier than it really is. But I've had three exits, so I can put that on the rap sheet. But otherwise, now I'm the founder and CEO of DropFunnels, which is the world's first and only completely tech-free unlimited marketing platform that leverages the power of WordPress for organic ranking, SEO, very fast page speeds to help digital marketers to grow their business online. So now we are in our second year of business and exploding and seeing so many very cool things. And I really think we're in a new era of marketing, which is why we're seeing these pivots here that you're talking about.
So what is it that you drove to this? Was there a precursor to DropFunnels? Were you operating in a different way?
Yeah. So most people in the digital marketing space are familiar with sales funnel builders. They're platforms that let you build funnels. ClickFunnels is one of the big ones. There's Kartra, Samcart. And so they're all fine, but they just happen to have, and I was using them for a long time. Right. But back when I initially started business, I was always building on WordPress before sales funnel builders came out at all. WordPress powers 34% of the entire internet. It's bigger than Facebook. It actually solves 80 to 90% of the indexing issues that Google faces by default. So you can actually outrank your competitors simply by being on the right platform, a stronger foundation.
Wow.
So I was always building there, and I never even had to spend on ads. Everything grew organically and whatnot. I moved to sales funnel builders, and they were great. They're quick, they're visual, drag and drop, but they come with some inherent, we'll call them like little like twists in the spine a little bit. It's kind of like the curse of the SaaS platform is pages were loading so slow that paid traffic is extremely expensive. You're losing sales left and right because people don't stay around waiting for it to load. Two, they could never rank organically. So you're stuck using paid marketing for the lifespan of your business. And also some weird coding black hat stuff that only the tech people look at and they run from. So without diving too deep into that world, it was just too many problems, too risky, and losing too many sales to be like, this isn't even worth it. So I thought, wait, WordPress has the technology, but these sales funnel builders, they have the psychology of sales. They know how to get sales funnels is the method to generate new leads, new sales, and grow your market. But this one had the tech. So I was like, but no one's really combined these. So I brought them together. I spent about $250,000 in a team of developers, and I just brought it together. It's like, if no one else is going to do this, I'm going to go do it. And I launched it to about 500 beta users. People went bananas. We're still to this day breaking things left and right, making tech do what it isn't intended to do, really, by uber optimizing people's sales funnel processes. And with that, now we grew by 10.4x last year. We'll probably 3x this year. We're hoping to 2x next year. And all because we just serve people a little bit differently than the rest of the world.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about how you're serving differently than being better. Because for me, that there's a distinction to that. Like, not a me too. It's a, hey, if you want that, you want this. If you want this, you want me. So explain that a little bit on how you think about that.
Yeah. So when we started, we were very much a better mousetrap than the other sales funnel builders out there. We could our pages load on average under 2 seconds, which beats all the benchmarks of making sure that your traffic converts and all that. And it's all built in. You can do sales funnels and courses, and there's a link tracker. You can do your home authority site and all that. But something happened to me, Brian, maybe about 3 months ago, something like that. I went to an event. There were 50 entrepreneurs there, coaches, they're consultants, like authors. And I asked the room, there's 50 of them there. How many of you have a sales funnel to help grow your business? The answer was 0. There wasn't a single person. They all wanted to grow, but not a single person had it. And I dove in deep. Why is that? And found that most people are A, terrified of technology, right? And B, they just don't know what to do. So that made me go back to the table. I had this big 3-hour-long revision casting call with my team where I'm ranting and raving and throwing my hands like a crazy person, saying like, we need to do this differently. So the platform by itself, no matter what, beats every other platform in any metric, and any third party can test them side by side and run a comparison, but it just wasn't enough. That was a version of what you just said. I love what you just said about that's serving better, but we need to serve differently, right? We need to serve, we can't just be a better master. We have to serve them differently. So now what we do, we have the software only option. People can come in if they want to build, have at it, you're going to win, right? But then we started this other thing called the partner program. And essentially we found that most people having no idea what to do and no idea about the tech, we're like, why don't we just build it for them? Why don't we just do what we do very well, very quickly, very effectively? It's what we eat, breathe, and sleep, is building sites and funnels and doing it all for ourselves. Or why don't we just do it for them too? So that's what we started including was, hey, we'll build your authority site. We'll build your original sales funnel. Most people have never had a sales funnel. So we'll often start with an application style funnel. You can host your courses and do like a follow-up system in there. It's usually custom to each person. And we realized, why don't we just give that to them? What would happen? And it just exploded overnight. And we realized that that's the path forward. People don't want to learn. They want to earn. They don't want to have more tools. They want a tool that's going to work for them and to help them to grow. And so we've decided that, okay, within 30 days, we want someone to not only be clear on their offer, their price point, how they serve somebody, an exact marketing plan to help them to get moving forward, the infrastructure, the tech, everything that you need to get going in under 30 days, what would happen? And people are just rallying around that, saying like, man, and for us, that was the pivot, was like, okay, instead of here's this beautiful mechanical jackhammer, and you give it to a 2-year-old, they're not going to know what to do with it, right? So pardon the metaphor. And instead we're like, okay, we're going to give that person a trained contractor who knows how to run it and can just dig the hole for you, right? So it comes with some intrinsic issues where, when you over deliver at that point, you almost become an agency. So we don't want to become an agency, right? But we're very much bleeding the lines between massively undercharging and over delivering versus, and giving people really what they need. And so we're starting to kind of feel like, okay, let's not add more value to this. So there's enough in there. Let's just serve more people in this way. But it's been really exciting to see.
Well, and it sounds like you really, really know, and you're very clear on who is it that you serve and what problems they have. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Most people who are starting as whether you're starting or growing a consultancy or a business, it's your information. You're virtually taking your brain, your thoughts, your processes, and selling it to the world. And one of the biggest things, Brian, that's amazing is that I always remind myself that people don't know what you know. They don't. As much as you think like imposter syndrome, I'm not that great, I don't have much to offer the world or whatever. Your experiences, your background, almost everybody, I'd say virtually everyone, has something to offer the world that can be monetized, sold, and scaled. We just have to beat that out of our head because it's self-limiting, invented belief, right? It's totally fabricated. So for most people, they just need the game plan to scale, right? Which is, okay, what is going to be your main ecosystem? Where do you bring people to get into your world and find out, okay, I'm Brian, this is what I do. This is how I help you. This is the problem I solve. And knowing exactly how to solve it in that way and not getting distracted, right? Just staying focused on that.
Exactly.
Focus. And then how do you get people into that world, either organically or paid? And then once they're in your world, how do you move them to either starting at the top of the ladder? I always say start at the top. Like people say, you need to sell $7, then 97, then 297. Yeah. I'm like, dude, flip the script. Start at your 10K offer, start at your 20K offer, your 5K offer. And then if that's not the right fit, go down from there, move them down to your $500 offer, right? So we do things completely differently around here. And so for a lot of people, they breathe the sigh of relief, like, oh, I don't have to be a techie. I don't have to, because you just don't. You really don't. You need to get out there and make great offers to people. That's what sells.
Well, it sounds like the same process you help your clients with is the same process you put yourself through on understanding all these things.
That's what really gives me the clarity of how it feels to be that clouded. You know, they say like the American bison, right? When they're faced with a storm, a blinding snowstorm or something, they don't sit there and wait like a cow. They head in directly into the storm. And although I can't see what's right, I know that if I keep moving, I'm going to get out sooner. I'm going to get out quicker, and I'm going to feel trapped. I'm going to feel confused. Like I don't have focus. I'm not sure if I'm going in the right path, but I trust the process. And I say, as long as I go that way, I'm going to get out. And then you look back and you realize, holy cow, I did it. Like I did what I needed to do instead of staying there stuck. So we went through that same thing. Our whole reinvention was, okay, we need to do some things differently because the world is radically changing. And with that, we don't want to sell what we think people need. You give them what they want. What do they want? Ask your people. Ask them on calls. Ask them in your Facebook groups. What do you want? And they will literally tell you. And when they do, you say, okay, I will do that for you, or I'll solve that problem, or I'll guide you in that direction.
I love that. We call that the voice of the customer. It's like the customer or the prospects have all the answers. You just have to facilitate in a way that they give them to you and they don't feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah. And we don't do any hard sales in our organization. I think that someone called it the Can't Gardone version of selling. It's just like high pressure. It's and we find that in many cases, high pressure sales ends up being, people regret it. They feel it's not a really great long-term relationship. So for us, if you serve them, sell them what it is that they truly want, and make the value more than what they're investing, it's literally illogical to not invest in that. Right. So we don't have to think like, oh, my offer's broken, or my mindset, or I don't, lift bench enough when I go to the gym. It's like, literally think about that. You have a solution to one problem that fits one market. You go to that market and you tell them that you have it. And when they come to you and say, can you help me with this problem? You say, yes, here it is.
Yep.
There's marketing and sales in a sentence.
Simple, right? Yeah. Simple. So what were some of the problems or things that you saw in the market that were happening that you're now solving with DropFunnels?
Yeah. So, I mean, beyond some of the things I mentioned around like page load speed, I mean, we've taken several people who've been on other platforms, pages loading in 28 seconds. Now they load in under 2 or 3 seconds. Like it's an immediate boost to conversions. And literally, this is a quote from Google. They say that if you're losing 53% of your traffic if your page loads in more than 3 seconds. So if it's not loading in under 3 seconds, period, you're losing 53% of your traffic. So you have to ask yourself the question, am I willing to take that risk?
Exactly.
Am I willing to risk even losing one sale over a weak foundation, right? So those are the things every day we're innovating. It's all behind closed doors. Nobody sees the turmoil and the deep work that we do to make this system so robust and stable and fast and scalable and in that way. So most of what we do is kind of, it's like the deep work, right? And then when it comes out, someone gets on, they see the difference, right? But, in terms of solving problems, it's almost like different things matter to different people, and people are going to join for different reasons. So whether they just want help, they want advice, they want accountability, they want something set up for them, they just want faster pages, or, hey, they want a new feature. They want a blog. You've got Brian.com that suddenly you can have your site, your blog, your sales funnels, your courses all on that main domain so that you can rank that content in synchronicity, right? There's synergy in domain reputation and authority. And so it's like, for us, I think we're always every day whittling down what that means. I think probably most people are. It's like, okay, every day, 1%, you get more clear. And sometimes you have to cut the wheat from the chaff and skim the fat a little bit. And even if there's something that you're emotionally connected to in your business, some piece that you really like, but no one else actually cares about, sometimes it's like, all right, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to come back and cut it, and I'll be
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the only one with this problem, not anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So it sounds like that whittling down, and a couple of the things you were talking about, you're always looking ahead in the future of, am I staying ahead of the curve? And that's what it sounds like to me. Like, always staying different. Is that right?
Yeah. I love the phrase. I think it was maybe David Goggins or someone said that if I can't manage the lows, then I don't deserve the highs. And so with that, staying in the present, it's easy. It's easy to stay in the present, right? It's really hard to look long-term and to balance the two, right? So we try to kind of reverse architect where we see things going. But then, for us and really for the people who are joining us, they're really voting with us to say, okay, we believe that you can see the future.
Yeah.
It's kind of like speculative stock trading or something.
Yeah.
It's like Gary Vee does it all the time. He's making all these predictions about where he thinks he'll admit when he's wrong, but sometimes he's right. And like everyone around him wins in the same way. Rising tide raises all ships, right? So we're always predicting where's the world going, and how can we reverse architect that to where we can be prepared with that. Here's something I'll mention just here, and we don't really keep it. We're kind of keeping it on the hush a little bit, but I see the future of marketing being SMS marketing. It's the only, it's the only communication vehicle that has 100% open rate, 99% open rate. Emails, 20, 30%. Facebook Messenger, good luck. You'll end up in spam. Door to door, they see it as trash. Flyers and all that kind of stuff. Phone calls, good luck. They're not going to answer you. You're going to get spam flagged. The only one is text messaging. So we're actually starting to pioneer some things in that instead of trying to chase people down and improve your open rate, forget it. Just text them like you would a friend, right? So take relational marketing and build it into automation and giving people the tools to do that. So
yeah, because if they don't respond, who cares if they opened it up?
Right.
Okay, I can increase my open rate, but did anybody take action after that? Well, no. Like, okay, so what, right? Like metrics that matter, right? And it sounds like SMS is something that really matters.
And it's very technological, but I think it's in its infancy. And I think just very few people know how to leverage it or have the tools to make it simple, because it's pretty complicated. And look, there's still value to email lists. There's still value to Facebook groups and to calling people and doing events and doing all of that. But it's like the small hinges that swing big doors.
Yeah.
And like, what if I could send out one message and 100% of my list is going to read it? You would not only be more selective with the message you send, you would ensure that you actually have a relationship with those people so that they don't just get mad at you. Instead of unsubscribing, they're like, they're happy to get a text, right? Like, who texts you? It's only your friends, right? So that's a unique, more intimate relationship.
So it sounds like, and I'm putting words in your mouth, is that the definition of having a list is changing, where it used to be an email list. Now it's email and phone, text, or just text. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah. I mean, if you think of yourself as the captain of the ship, right? You'll have your crew, it's your team members, and you need a specific communication vehicle that only the crew experiences, right? You also need for your passengers, there's a way that you need to get that message out to them. And if they're off on excursions doing this stuff or whatever, like you're missing out on that. So you need an intercom, no matter what size boat you're on, some way to say, hey, everybody, dinner's this way, right? And when you say it, they listen. But having that list, the modality is very fluid, I think. And I think most people stick with email because it's what they think having a list means. But it's like, if you're at my house having dinner or having a party, that's a list. It's an audience. It's a group of people with collective mindset.
Yeah. So it sounds like these people you built this for are either not have sales funnels or just in the infancy, like in the first couple of years, and you can serve them now, but you're already thinking 5-10 years down the line. Like, it sounds like that's as far ahead you are.
Yeah. And I think it's truly 80-20. There are some people, 20% of our market, they'll come in, they'll use it. I don't even know who they are. We never hear from them. They never put in support tickets. They just have a team and do it. And there's quite a few of those people that come in, and we just don't even, like, we know that they're there, but we don't, we never hear from them. They never need help. They just know what they're doing. 80% of people, they're still like working out their offer. They're still learning some new skills, new ways to sell, and leveraging digital marketing to grow. I think it's the only way forward. I mean, it's like, look what just happened this last year, and everyone who was not online, most of them died. They died off, right? I mean, the business itself, can starve, so like brick and mortar businesses that didn't have lists, didn't have markets, didn't have ecosystems to bring people to, those businesses can die, without having these tools in place. So we think it's a mission for us. Yeah.
I mean, what would you say to somebody who's like left corporate America? They're out on their own now. What advice would you give to them in the world that we're in now so they can be successful or strive to be successful?
That is such a good question and a loaded question.
Yeah, I know, right?
Boy, I'm so on the horse of get more by doing less.
Yeah.
I mean, focus.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways to make money on the internet, a lot of ways you can market yourself and whatnot, but it's kind of like when you're back in the dating world, there's no one who's like the perfect. I don't really believe in soulmates or whatever. I think it's like the water you lawn, or the lawn you water becomes green. Right?
Yes.
So with that, I say just stick with this one offer. I mean, if some people have multiple products and whatnot, but it's like one business, right? It's one offer, one funnel, which is just a path for people to buy from you, one follow-up sequence, and one traffic source. That's it. You follow on those 4 things. They're all going to optimize at the same rate. You don't get distracted by butterflies and squirrels, and your business grows almost predictably. Because it's like, okay, if I did that and I got this and I like this, go do more of that. Right. And you know exactly where to push your energy.
I love that, because that's a big mantra of ours. And entrepreneurs stereotypically have the bright and shiny syndrome, where it's like, great idea, move to the next. Like, let's go here. And that is probably the worst thing to practice because it's the opposite of focus. And it's one of the ingredients to failure, in my opinion.
I'd agree.
Well, cool, man. Well, this has been awesome, Jordo. I appreciate your time. Why don't you share with everybody, and we'll, wherever you're watching this or listening to, we're going to put this in the notes or across the screen. But why don't you share with everybody how they can get a hold of you or learn more about you and your business?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Really, my modus operandi is use the tools that serve you best, right? So if you're already on something that's serving you and doing very well, keep doing it, right? Just keep that focus and head down. If you're looking to grow, if you're looking for maybe a little bit more help or to be served differently, as we talked about, right? DropFunnels.com is the site. And so if anyone wants you, if they just want more info, there's a no pressure, no obligation or anything. Just there's a link to book a call with someone on the team. It's one of our DropFunnels experts. They can help to decide with you, like, what's the best path? Do you want to migrate your content in? Do you want help with your offer? Do you need a funnel? Do you need these things? And help point you in the right direction. We also have a great Facebook group. really active, 6,000 people, something like that at just search DropFunnels in the Facebook bar. And, we're here to serve. So if someone can, if anyone in this audience wants to hit me up directly, I'm Jordan, Jordan at DropFunnels. I'll just leave my email open for anyone who wants advice, or if I can encourage you in some way, I'd love to do that.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. And I did not know about the Facebook group. And once we're done here, I'm pouncing over to Facebook and I'm joining that group because I appreciate our conversations. I always learn something. So I look forward to learning more over there. So thanks again, Jordan. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all your insights, and thanks for everybody for tuning into this episode of the On Purpose Growth Podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.